You too, man.
Hey, today you got your hand on a football, got that interception on that deep ball to Marv. Just tell me about, when you make plays like that. Yesterday you had a diving play where you got your hand on one. Just how much confidence do plays like that start to build in young guys trying to figure this out on the run?
I think it builds a lot of confidence just to be able to see that you can make plays on the next level, especially against guys like Marvin Jones, a great receiver. And I think that every day I just look forward to going against Tim and Kenny and just competing.
And just to follow up, I see you all the time, not just with the cornerbacks, but Marv and Kenny taking you aside, showing you some things. Marv did it today. Just how invaluable is that for a young guy, having a guy on the other side of the ball who's directly going against you, giving you some of those little pointers and hints?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely been soaking it in from everyone, whether it's Marvin, whether it's Chase Daniel, or whether it's Trufant. So I think that just gaining the perspectives from different players on the team has been really enlightening for me.
Hello, Mike Rothstein.
Hey, Jeff, how are you? First, just it seemed like you got maybe the wind knocked out of you or a little bit hurt today. What happened there off of the dive that you seemed like you dived, try to break up a pass, and you were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I landed pretty awkwardly. Got up, shrugged it off. I mean, it's just pretty much a football play. It's something that happens over course of practice, but I think the big thing was that I was able to, come back, finish practice.
And then just this whole first week for you, what's this experience been like? Because it's your first time really at this level, facing this type of competition, probably on a down-to-down basis.
It's been fun. I think that reminds me a lot of the Ohio State practices in the sense that everyone is competing all the time. Receivers and DBs are in constant competition, see who can win the most. I mean, we do push-ups or they do push-ups whenever one group is more dominant. So I think just getting the competition every day is going to be really valuable for the upcoming season.
Thanks.
Justin?
Hey, Jeff, you kind of led into it there for me. We look at Ohio State and we think of them as one of those schools that's, I guess, as close as possible to NFL caliber talent across the roster. How do the practices compare Ohio State to the NFL in terms of talent, intensity, going against Matthew, Kenny, and Marvin? How does that compare to what you did on a daily basis at Ohio State?
No, I think it's really comparative in the sense that you got different body types of receivers. So, Marv Hall's a speed guy. Kenny and Marv Jones are able to go up there and get the ball high level. So, I can work different skill sets depending on which receiver I'm facing. And I think that's something that every cornerback would like to have at practice.
Ken Brown?
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
How you doing, boss?
All right. You're going up against Matt Stafford, who probably has one of the best arms in the NFL, if not the best. As a cornerback, when you're facing a talent like that, what do you look at, and what reaction time do you do with it, and just your experience of facing a guy like that?
It's pretty fun just having a chance to go against a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, someone who's been in the league, proven himself for a long period of time. So I think that the big thing is me and Amani are always talking about ways that, we can get better. Going against him, he's putting the ball in really amazing spots. So I think sometimes it's like we're in competition, but I'm also in awe of the throws that he's able to make.
John Neo?
Jeff, and just getting back to the sort of the help from guys like Marv and Kenny. Kenny was talking about telling you, don't stay in the back, come get with us, work. Anything specific they've sort of taught you or pointed out to you here in the first week of camp even?
Them being veteran receivers, I think that they have a lot of nuggets to drop on me. So whether it's little things they see with my technique, whether it's just tips for rookies in general, I think that they've been a really big help for me as well as the DBs in the room.
And with Amani, what kind of relationship already have you started to build with him?
Me and Amani, we clicked from the start. Definitely someone that we're able to connect in the sense that we just want to be the best at what we do. Staying after practice with him, watching film, he's really made the transition smoother, and I'm really appreciative of him for that.
Thanks.
Tim?
Just from Monday to Friday, watching the film, going through the practices, how would you describe your first week? How would you critique yourself through the first week, Monday to Friday?
I would say that for me, it's about laying down solid groundwork and then finding something to get 1% better at every single day. So if I come in one day, I might say, let me work on my press technique, let me work on my eye discipline one day. So I think in that sense, it helps just not get overwhelmed by just keeping the vision smaller and then letting the days stack up, just putting our head down and just grinding.
All right, we'll go two more. Mike Rothstein, then Wojo.
Yeah, Jeff, I want to follow on what John Neal asked when you said that, you've been getting little tips from Kenny and from Marv. Have they told you something that maybe you didn't realize about your own game? Whether it's maybe something you were doing at the line of scrimmage, a tell, or something with your back pedal or anything like that. Have they pointed something out that you were like, I didn't actually realize that?
I wouldn't say necessarily in my game per se, but I think that just general DB things that maybe that defensive backs aren't really even conscious of during the snap. I think that they've helped me be definitely way more aware of certain things that DBs do post snap.
Is there any specific example that stands out?
I can't tell you guys all the secrets now.
I gotta try.
I feel you on that.
All right, Wojo, last one.
Yeah, Jeff, just following up on what you said about Stafford and sometimes in awe and he puts the ball in places. What is the most difficult thing about it? Is it the deep ball? Is it putting it in specific places? What about him has jumped out more than any quarterback you may have faced before?
I think he can make any throw, and with him, his throws, he's able to throw the ball kind of based off where your positioning is on the receiver, and I think not a lot of quarterbacks have that ability. So for him to do that just shows why he's so special and considered a great player in the league.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everyone. Guys, go ahead and stay on the line. We'll have Matthew up next in about 10 minutes.
So I don't think we've really asked you about Frank Ragnow in a little while. Just curious what you've seen out of his development the first couple of years, and then I don't know how easy it is to sum up, but the value, the importance of trust between quarterback and center on a given Sunday.
Yeah, I mean that dynamic, that communication is huge. The conversations that we have, on the field and off the field, but especially on the field before the snap, is hugely important. And he does a great job and he has to do a great job of relaying, what we're talking about down the line to both sides. Frank's a really talented player physically. He's a really smart guy, understands the game well, has done a great job of, taking ownership of what his responsibilities are and doing a great job of leading those guys.
Maybe it's a tough question, but what do you think a ceiling for him is in terms of, do you think he has all pro potential?
I don't even know how that gets voted on or any of that, but I just know he's a really good player. We appreciate him, appreciate the way he comes to work every single day and goes about his business. And that's the most important part is he's on our squad and does a great job for us.
Dave?
Hey, Matthew, I know you sort of like to avoid the spotlight a little bit when it comes to these things, but you seem to have, found your voice. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but on social issues, taking part in the virtual voting thing and the Georgia donation. Where does some of that come from? Why is, right now the right time for you to, be out front with some of those topics, I guess?
I think obviously this offseason for us as a football team was a special one. It was different. Obviously we're on these Zoom calls, but there were some awesome conversations that happened. We got a lot of listening, a lot of learning, and a lot of inspirational stuff. So that was an awesome thing to be a part of. Kind of got the wheels turning and give a lot of credit to my wife. She's was hugely instrumental in getting everything together as well. So total team effort, just trying to figure out, what the best way to make an impact is. And, we've done some work here in the Detroit area and wanted to do some work back, where we spent our college years. And obviously Georgia was starting, thinking about starting this program, and we were obviously extremely happy to be a part of it. That's pretty much all I got on that.
I know there aren't, I know this isn't the reason why you do it, but there aren't a lot of quarterbacks necessarily that are front and center or white players for that matter that are front and center doing that. Does it register you with you at all how, rare I guess that is and maybe what that means to, other people out there watching you do this?
I'm not really doing it for those reasons at all. I'm just doing it because I think it's the right thing to do. It's what I believe in, what my wife believes in, what our family believes in. So we're just trying to do what we can to make a difference. It wasn't for anything else. Wasn't for, trying to lead QBs or anything like that, man. And we're just trying to figure out how we can make a difference and, help people along the way. And we thought this was a good start and just happy to be a part of it.
And then last thing, I don't know if you've considered this at all, will you kneel during the national anthem? How will you approach that moment before games this year?
Oh, that's something that kind of we're talking about as a team. I'm happy to do whatever I can to help support our guys, whatever we want to do. But that's something that's hasn't really been brought up, hasn't been finalized, as of yet. We're talking ball right now, trying to figure out how we're going to beat man coverage and how we're going to stop people and all that. So that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ken?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Congratulations on that big check, and that's BROWN if you want to put it in now. I do want to ask you about the home games. Your first two home games, there'll be no fans. Is that I know it's maybe a neutral field, but is that a disadvantage if you have home games early in the season with no fans, and then maybe later in the season you will have games with fans? And how are you going to approach that?
I think this year is just going to be show up and play. I mean, we don't know if anybody's going to be in the stands, if they're going to be pumping crowd noise in, how that's going to go. I don't know. I can't worry about all that kind of stuff. It's for sure going to be different than I'm used to, hearing Ford Field going crazy, especially for a home opener. That'll be different. But so is everything since, 2020 hit. So might as well be different and just go on with it and play ball. I think we're doing everything we can to prepare for whatever scenarios. Sometimes we're pumping music into practice, sometimes we're not, and it's quiet. I know training camp has a different feel to it. There's no fans out there. We make a big play. It's just ho hum, go to the next one. So it's all a little bit different. But we got to continue to get ready to go play, and that's what it's all about. I know there are people be watching from home and cheering us on from home. So still got to make them proud.
Tim?
Kudos to you and Kelly, Matthew, for the donation. That'll probably do a lot of good work down there. I want to ask you about two young guys, and I know you won't mind talking about a Georgia guy, but just what you've seen from Swift early on, maybe particularly in the passing game. And then we talked to TJ Hawkinson earlier this week too, and he said, look, I just want to have more fun playing football. He obviously got kind of rocked up a little bit in the offseason. Just curious what you've seen from him as well. So those two guys, Swift and Hawkinson, what you've seen early on, expected to be big parts of the offense, obviously.
Yeah, Swift's done a nice job. Obviously, being thrown into the fire as a rookie a little bit in training camp with no off season is tough. Tough mentally, tough phically. You're not really sure what to expect if you're that guy. Young guys, rookies coming in. But I think he's done a nice job. Just trying to adapt and get on the program and go. Obviously when he has the ball in his hands, probably when he's most comfortable. He's a talented guy running with the football. He does a nice job out of the backfield catching the ball as well. Just looking for him to be the best version of himself he can be. And as far as Hawk goes, no doubt a talented kid. Had a great year to start last year before it was cut short with an injury. Just looking for him to build on what he started doing last year. No doubt it's fun to play football. It's fun to play it when you're winning and you're playing at a high level. So just looking for him to come out and build on what he did last year, continue to play at a high level, get better, and help our team win.
Just a real quick follow-up. Bevel said this offseason that he's got to, try to get those tight ends a little bit more involved in the offense than he did last year. Does that fall on you a little bit too? I know you've always been a guy, look, the open guy gets the ball, but do you sometimes have to kind of work to try to do some things to get Hawk and those guys involved a little bit more?
Yeah, I think obviously I'm the guy holding the ball before it goes anywhere. So, if I can find those guys a little bit more, that would help, help them get going a little bit. But there's plenty of guys on this offense to feed. There's a bunch of good players, a bunch of talented guys on the outside. So, I'm just going to continue to try to do my thing to help us move the ball as well as I can and help us score points. But we definitely have playmakers that I can for sure get the ball to.
Larry?
Matthew, good to see you, kind of.
Yeah.
Can you humor us and kind of put on your big picture view of this team and what you like? I know you're trying to get to training camp, but give me your big picture view of where this franchise is right now.
At the moment, I think we have a really nice mix of, veteran guys and young guys, young talented dudes. So, it's been a lot of fun getting to work in training camp against, some veteran guys, Jamie Collins, Drawn in the back end. True's doing a nice job outside. So fun to work against those guys, compete against them. And then there's a bunch of young talent back there too on defense. And then it's kind of a similar story on the offensive side of the ball. I've had a ton of work with Kenny and Marv and Danny over the years. And now we've got, some guys either new to the team or new to the NFL that are going to try and help us as well too. So it's a good mix. I think we've got a really good locker room, a tight locker room. But it's like you said, at the moment, man, we're just grinding through camp, trying to figure out what our identity is going to be, who we're going to be as a football team, what we're going to be about, and make sure that we are as ready as we possibly can be to play, regular season football games here in a couple of weeks.
How much harder is it to get ready for week one when you don't have a preseason game?
I don't know. I think obviously I've never done it before, so I'll let you know after week one. But you spend a little bit of time on these preseason games, game planning, and then the season comes around, you start game planning for teams. So I imagine it'll be a pretty similar process, minus the ability to game plan for a week 3 or week 4 preseason opponent. But obviously, I think more so for the guys that are first coming into the league, some of the young guys, some of the rookies, just realizing the speed change, from practice to a game. that might be a little bit of an eye opener for them early, but they'll adapt quickly, and we try to make practice as quick and as fast and as difficult as we possibly can, so that when Sundays come around, those guys are as up to speed as they can be.
Okay, we'll go two more. Rothstein, then Carlos.
Yeah, Matthew, I've got two for you. First, when you were talking about social issues before and what those conversations were like over Zooms and with your teammates, was there one that really stood out to you, or one story that stood out to you that maybe sparked what you're trying to do now and what you wanted to do now?
Not one, a bunch. It was a bunch of conversations, a bunch of stories, a bunch of perspectives from a bunch of different people. This wasn't one-sided. It wasn't, just from players or just from coaches. It was from everybody. And we got, gained a ton of perspective, gained, a ton of knowledge, a bunch of respect for people, and just tried to figure out what we could do to help. And that's kind of, where we started. And like I said, it's a start, and just trying to do a little bit of something, a little bit of good, and help out.
And with Jeff Okudah, you've seen a lot of rookies in your time, both in games and also, in practices. Where have you seen maybe growth from him already in 1 week going against him, and what's maybe stood out to you early on?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of, corners come in, young guys. First couple days, just trying to figure out, the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, get their feet underneath them. I think that was the case, for him and a lot of our rookies. But he's done a nice job progressing. I think he's got good ball skills. He's a long guy, can really run. Impressed with the way he goes to work, every day. He's doing a nice job out on the practice field. He's competing at a high level, giving it everything he's got. And really, that's all you can ask for.
Thanks, Matthew.
Yep.
Carlos?
Yeah, Matt, can you walk us through a little bit of the pick today that I guess he got off of you on some far side of the field? I didn't see it really great. And just, is there any ways that have you talked to Jeff, and what ways can you help him develop?
Yeah, the pick was on a free play, so I'm glad he made the pick, but it was a 5-yard offsides on the defense, so I threw one up. But I'm glad he made the play. Like, that's good for our team that he's making plays down the field. But like I said, that's just an example of his ball skills. We get a free one. I'm putting one up to Marv, and the DB goes and makes it. At least we don't get a big play. That was a really nice play by him. He undercut another ball today and made a pass breakup on Kenny on an in route that was really impressive too. So he's done some nice stuff. I'm happy for him. And then, yeah, he's talking to Marv, he's talking to Kenny, he's talking to me. He's trying to figure out, what he can do better. And he's a sponge, man. He's trying to learn and understands that this game is different than the game he was playing, 6 months ago in college. So, he's a smart kid, athletic, got a bunch of skills, and we're gonna do everything we can to, speed him along and get him up to speed as quick as possible.
Mike O'Hara, last one.
All right, bringing up the rear here, Matthew. Thanks a lot. Real quickly, I just wonder, the work you did in the offseason is almost like a traveling caravan from place to place, throwing balls and all with guys. I wonder how much that has paid off now under the restrictions you have, the time restrictions. You get, really efficient practices, and we're not, eliminating mental errors and all that, but just really being able to set a tempo in practice.
Yeah, I tried to do what I thought was best to help our guys get ready, and it was a unique situation for everybody, myself included, trying to figure out a little balance of, hey, what's right, but let's not take too much risk here, our team was great in supporting and helping, make sure guys were safe as much as we possibly could. I contacted with guys, all around, seemed like the country, and there were plenty of guys in the places that I was working out at that were available to come throw. So that was awesome. And it's one of those deals where you go out there and you throw a bunch of balls and you get to know each other and try to get on the same page. And then if you go, play bad on offense, it means nothing. We got to go out there and produce on Sundays. And if I threw a ball, June 1st to Kenny that was in stride, and then I go out there on Sunday and throw it way behind him, doesn't help us out. So to make those things count. Got to continue to make those reps count. And, that's what training camp is for and what we're doing at the moment. But certainly tried to get a jump start any way that I could.
And it was rookies and vets alike too, like Deion Swift.
Yeah,
and
no
all
question.
that.
Some of those young guys, man, just trying to help them, through a tough one. I mean, geez, no spring, a pandemic, can't find a gym to work out. I don't know. Everybody was in a tough situation. I was just trying to lend a hand and help them out, make something available for them so they could get better at what we do. And kudos to those guys for, being there and just saying, sure, let's go to work. So it was a fun time, getting out there and playing a little bit of football in the middle of a tough time.
Hey, thanks, Matthew.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew.